absolutely wild showdown on Capitol Hill today. The head of Planned Parenthood clashing with congressional Republicans. The embattled president facing off against conservative lawmakers who want to strip all federal funding from Planned Parenthood.
Planned Parenthood is an organization with massive salaries. Ms. Richards makes nearly $600,000 a year. The person that runs the affiliate in Minnesota, North Dakota, and South Dakota makes roughly $450,000 a year. And I could be here for a long time listing out some very exorbitant salaries. This is also an organization that seems to have exorbitant travel expenses. 2013, they spent more than $5 million in travel. First-class tickets, private chartered aircraft. Roughly, they're spending $14,000 a day on travel. That's a lot. That's money that isn't going to women's health care.
The federal funding that Planned Parenthood receives allows our doctors and clinicians at our health centers to provide birth control, cancer screenings, and testing and treatment for sexually transmitted infections.
Ohio Congressman Jim Jordan, who was in that hearing, got in a hot exchange with the president of Planned Parenthood. Short time ago, he went on the record. Congressman, nice to see you, sir.
Good to be with you, Greta.
I watched the hearings this morning, and I still am not clear. Was the Planned Parenthood video edited or not? I see that the Republicans say no. I say that Planned Parenthood says yes. And then I went on the website for the Planned Parenthood people who checked it out, and I had like a half a page explaining who they are. So what's the story? Edited or not edited?
Well, I mean, it was edited to produce a good video, but it wasn't edited for content. It's the real content. And you know it was, Greta, because Cecile Richards, 2 days after the first video came out, she produces her own video and she apologizes for statements in the first video. So if you haven't done anything wrong, there's no need to apologize.
And you had a very heated exchange over that today. You and Cecile had a Cecile Richards had a very heated exchange over that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you can't have it both ways. You can't say, oh, it's heavily edited, it was entrapment, it wasn't true, and then turn around and apologize for it. So I asked her, I said, which statements are you apologizing for? And she wouldn't answer the question because she knows, as I said in the committee, a picture's worth 1,000 words. We've seen these videos. We know how repulsive they are. And we know that an organization engaged in the behavior that we've now seen shouldn't be getting taxpayer money. All
right. Do you want to defend all of Planned Parenthood or just the portion that relates to abortion or some limited? Because Planned Parenthood does an enormous amount of different services for women.
Well, I'm not defending Planned Parenthood in any way. What I'm saying is they shouldn't get taxpayer money, right? There's no reason taxpayer dollars should be going to this order. They got for anything. They got $127 million surplus this past year. Holy cow! And they still want taxpayer money. And you know why they want it, Greta? Because they get taxpayer dollars from the politicians. They can then give it back to the politicians in the form of campaign contributions, and then they give it back to Planned Parenthood. So politicians giving the money to Planned Parenthood, giving it back to politicians, and all for this kind of behavior. This is what's so disgusting. This is what's so wrong, and it's why they shouldn't get the money in the first place.
All right. Congressman Cummings wanted to have the testimony of the man who was at the Center for Medical Progress that published this video, and he said the Republicans wouldn't let him call that witness. What's the story? Did you not let
We'll be happy to have Mr. Deladian come in and testify. But right now, Greta, understand in California, there are some videotapes we haven't seen at all because the liberal judge in California has put a restraining order on those tapes because the National Abortion Federation went and sued and said, oh, we don't want these released. So what I want to know is what's in those tapes that we can't see? Why did the National Abortion Federation want us not to see some of those tapes in California? What's in those? As bad as these are, what's in those? So when we get all that, of course Mr. Deladian will come in, and that's entirely appropriate.
Okay, I'm all for full disclosure on whatever these tapes show or don't show, full disclosure, unedited. The only thing I was concerned about is that he said that he wanted to call this witness and that he said the Republicans didn't want to. But you are going to let them at some point at a hearing let the Democrats call this witness?
I think it's important Mr. Deladian come in and tell us. I think that's fine. And at some point, I expect that to happen.
All right. Congressman, thank you, sir. But before I let you go, what's going to happen with the speaker? What's your position on the new speaker?
It's way too early, Greta. The main thing we got to do is understand the voters expect us to do what we said we would do. And leadership going forward, we had all better focus on that simple thing. make sure we keep the promises we gave the voters. It was time for a change, and we'll see who who emerges as the new speaker.
Well, that sort of suggests to me, since you're so instrumental in one part of this Congress, is that this will be a very difficult thing for a new speaker, for instance, a Kevin McCarthy, to get a consensus going forward.
We'll see. I think we got some, look, we're going to wait and talk to these folks, and we'll see who emerges. I don't think we need to go slow or go faster. I think this should be a deliberate process, because imagine and think of the context we're in. 14 months ago, the voters in Virginia said, Eric Cantor, we're not going to reelect you. Donald Trump, Ben Carson, Carly Fiorina are leading the presidential nomination, and for the first time that I know of, a sitting speaker stepped down midterm. This is a whole new framework. I think it behooves us to go slow and make sure we get this right and understand what the voters are trying to tell us. Poll this Sunday, Greta. 60% of our voters, Republican voters, think that our party has betrayed them. Not just disappointed them, betrayed them. So we better get the message and do exactly what we told them we were going to do. That's why they elected us.
Congressman, nice to see you, sir.
Thank you.